Hello, Tiger fans. Thanks for joining us on a new edition of Tiger Timeout on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Our final edition of Tiger Timeout as we get set for the Christmas break as well as the new year. And the Lady Tigers, before they get to Christmas break, they'll travel off to Hawaii as Ginger High Colvin joins me. The Lady Tigers getting set for an upcoming trip. Before we look too far ahead, though, Coach, let's go back just a few days. Indiana University East visits the Powell Center, and you kind of wrap up that first semester. You're able to get into finals week this week with a little less pressure and different things. An impressive performance by the Lady Tigers and a big win.
It was. We rarely get through finals week without having to play a game, and we were this time, and it's been really nice just to be able to practice and know the kids' brains aren't fried and trying to play a game as well. And I know that's something Coach Vernon and I talked about. It's just really hard to play on finals week. So to get that over with and to play a good IU East team and just be able to maybe go hard with our bodies physically, but not so hard mentally has been a good step for us.
Let's take a look at the numbers from the win over Indiana University East. The Red Wolves visiting here last weekend. Lainey Johnson led the way with 19 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Abby Gilbert with 15 points, 6 boards. Whitney Hay 13 and 4 helpers for the Lady Tigers. And Coach Lainey there, obviously kind of the headliner. She had the 19 points, and it felt like it came in a hurry. She shot the basketball extremely well. I think hit 5 threes in the victory, and we kind of got a glimpse of what the future holds for number 31.
Yes, her high school jersey's being retired this coming Friday night. It was already scheduled, but because of that little snowfall, they rescheduled it. So she's 3-time Region Player of the Year, second all-time leading scorer at Anderson County High School, and we knew when we got her, we had a scorer. I didn't realize Lainey was as good creating and as good of a rebounder as she is, and yeah, the sky's the limit for her. So excited for her, and I think she really showed what she's capable of the other night in a very limited amount of time.
I will say this, and this is a compliment to Lainey. There's not, the criteria for having one's jersey retired or different things is up to each school and institution, whatever you want to call it. But to have that done before you even they had barely even started the next basketball season, and they had already missed Lainey so much, they said, we're going to go ahead and retire the number. That speaks volumes to the impact she had on Anderson County.
And Anderson County has poured out tons of great talent. Coach Clay Birdwhistle does an outstanding job, and he has kids playing everywhere. 2 of the Freed Hardman, the Satterleys, 2 of the best players in the Mid-South Conference, played for Clay. Georgetown's had a lot of good players from Anderson County. I could go on and on. I don't want to leave anyone out. And we've had some pretty decent Anderson County kids on our team as well, with current Lady Tiger, Paige Serafini, and then Sammy Rogers. So I'm happy for Lainey. I know that's a great honor for her. She's pretty humble too.
Well, and I think that's the Lady Tiger roster, and as a whole, half of them at times you can't even get them to talk to you. So they're not a boisterous bunch as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Now you may have a different side of that inside the gym during practice times and bus rides and all that stuff.
It does take a while. Dia Bradley's probably one of the funniest, wittiest kids on the team. Didn't say 2 words last year. Kobe is on break now. He's finished up his finals, and he and Chase Horde worked out with us yesterday, and I think they were a little winded. And Kobe said, Dia's never said a word to me, and he said she looked up at me and goes, "You're out of shape."
He's a golfer. He's a full-time golfer now, folks. I mean,
but it's funny. It's fun to watch the kids grow and watch their personalities come out. Their parents will tell you. But it takes a little bit of time. But we've got a really quiet group on some levels, and then we've got some that make up for that.
And you mentioned not having a game during finals week. What's that do for you as a coach? You wear a lot of different hats, and there are different roles and responsibilities. And I know you have a tremendous amount of great students. But what does finals week look like for you as you kind of oversee some of that?
Sure. Finals week's important. And if a kid comes to us and says, hey, I need this for the academic side of it, we're 100% in. We want those kids to do the absolute best they can do in their classroom and in their classwork, because that's what ultimately we want. We want them to get out of here and have the best chance at the best job they can have and the job they want. And that all starts here now. You can't put that off. And so we're willing to do whatever we can do make sure that they're getting the optimum time of studying and time to take their test. We just don't put pressure on them to be there. And then we do have to practice. We do have to, and I believe that when you can get in there and exert yourself physically, that helps a little bit with that mental strain. So we have exerted ourselves physically this week, and that's a good thing.
Some of the Lady Tigers may be wishing you did have a game this week. Could have
They
been
are.
Perhaps a little easier. And then not only in terms of basketball coach, but you also are an administrator as well. So this weekend you'll be trying to help facilitate things with different graduations and different stuff that may go on. So again, you've got many irons in the fire.
Yes, the coaches traditionally help out with graduation, and I'm a coach. I know sometimes the bait's thrown in front of you and you reject it some, so we're having to hunt some people down at times, and me included. But yes, graduation's a big time, and it's great for these kids to get their degrees and be able to move on and have that Campbellsville alumnus somewhere being successful.
Absolutely. The Lady Tigers will wrap up their first semester action. They'll go way west to take care of things out in Honolulu, Hawaii. We'll step away. We'll come back and we'll look ahead for the Lady Tigers here on Tiger Timeout.
Hey, honey. We thought we'd try something new.
Family art hour. What do you think?
You got jokes. You're funny.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Learn more at adoptuskids.org.
Tiger Timeout continues here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton here with you as we look ahead as the Lady Tigers make their trip to Honolulu, Hawaii here in the coming days. Campbellsville with a couple of top-tier programs awaiting them out in Honolulu as the head coach joins me, Ginger High Colvin. Coach, you're supposed to schedule these and go get you a couple of gimmies out there. It might be a little more difficult to enjoy some of the scenery and the sunshine and different things with Concordia and Dakota Wesleyan.
Yep.
But again, you go get these games, these top-tier teams, and you'll certainly be battle-tested when the Mid-South rolls around.
We will. This started with Bill at Providence. He contacted me, said, let's go to Hawaii and play one another. And I said, great, because Frontier team, he always does a great job. He's a great dude. And so that was our plan. And then, so we both committed that we're going to go play. Well, then two teams from the same conference committed. So they couldn't go out there and play one another. So I'll still get to see Bill and talk to him a little bit, but we won't get to play. But we are playing two top tier. There's 4 top tier teams there, and we'll be able to play those two. And man, it's going to be a dogfight every game out there, I think.
Well, and we were talking a little bit off air, but Dakota Wesleyan and Concordia both play number 1 Dort this week before they go. So I think it was Dakota Wesleyan tonight. Any of you NAIA women's basketball junkies that will tune in and watch this evening, you can find that game online. And then Saturday, Dort will take on Concordia. So for you guys, kind of the haze in the barn, so to speak, before you make that trip. They have got a big one hanging out there, and Dort recently lost to Doane at the GPAC. We talk about the Mid-South. It's tough. The GPAC also a
GPAC
difficult league.
and the Mid-South, and I throw the Frontier in there. Those conferences are brutal. Frontier Conference this year is the first year they're not having to play each other 3 times. So they've added some teams, and it's a really, really tough. But the GPAC, man, it is loaded. And we know how they feel. We feel their pain. The only difference is they're playing those teams early, or they're playing some conference games early. We're not. Going in there and not have playing in so long worries me a little bit. But we've got a really good team, so our practices have been pretty competitive.
We'll take a look at the numbers between Campbellsville and Concordia, and mirror images to some degree. The Lady Tigers still unbeaten. Concordia at 9-1. Their only loss, I believe, to Briarcliff. Coach, is that right?
Yes,
At 90?
and they've played a tougher schedule than we have up to this point. And but yes, they it's
And in some
pretty
ways, like
similar.
looking in the mirror.
It really is.
Maybe.
It really is. They do a lot of the same things we do. They have depth. They really try to get after you. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge for sure.
And how much this week will you watch the Concordia Door? How much do you watch all that and really try to pull from their most recent contest, or what are some
We
things you're
will
going to be
watch
looking for?
every nook and cranny. Hootie will be invested. I will be invested, and our girls are. I'm pretty sure our girls will be watching as well. We don't make them watch. We go through and we do a lot of clips and give them to the girls, but we've got some basketball junkies on the team, and a lot of them will watch anyway.
And obviously the game with Dakota Wesleyan there on the 19th, and those games can be found on PassTheBallLive.com. That is PassTheBallLive.com. The only issue there is that the is THA, not THE, and most of us from Kentucky won't have any issue with that small change there. So PassTheBallLive.com, and you can find the Lady Tigers contests out there. What fun activities do we have planned? Do the ladies know yet, or are we not privy
No,
to
they
say
do
they
know.
know?
We have, from my last count, 50 plus fans going on top of that. I will promise you they will have more fun than we will. We will have fun. You can't go to Hawaii, can't go to Honolulu that you don't take the girls to Pearl Harbor. And that's just such a overwhelming experience, and to be able to go there and see the history of what we have. My grandfather fought in World War II, so that's a big thing for me, because those activities that day changed the trajectory of our family in some ways. And then a luau, you can't do a luau. We won't have Richard Robards there to dance in his grass skirt. There is typically somebody pulled from the crowd. We've had some winners over the past years. And then the girls will always want beach time. There's shopping around. Kobe is going to be able to go with us, so I think some golf will be involved. But a lot of hiking, snorkeling. The whales are there while we're there, so there's some whale watching tours. But when we go there, we typically, when it's over, let the girls take off with their families and enjoy their families and some family time, and just it's beautiful. And then Diamond Head is one of the hikes there that is a biggie. I would not let them hike Diamond Head prior to those two games, but they can hike it afterwards, and just be able. They've worked extremely hard to raise money to go on this trip, so I want them to enjoy it to the fullest.
Diamond Head was maybe the most I've ever wrestled with myself. I got about 3/4 of the way up, and I thought, what have I done? And you get to that point, and you have to complete it. So I had to go ahead and get to the top. And there were a few Lady Tigers that offered encouragement, but I thought about taking the short route back down that hill. It was not for the faint of heart. And then Pearl Harbor at that time, coming out of COVID, a lot of stuff was closed. So I'm hoping that you will get to experience some more of that.
The Pearl Harbor experience, the actually going to the memorial of that vessel was closed because of the dock. They were building a new dock, and so that's all been completed since. And so we'll be able to go over, and what a lot of people don't know, it's been, what was 80, how many years since Pearl Harbor? It just happened. There's oil that still leaks from that vessel, and it's just so hard to believe that. And so I've encouraged the girls to get a little bit of that history and watch a little bit before we go over there. But I'm big on stuff like that. That's important to me. It's important to our United States of America. So I think it's a cool thing to see.
Coach, best of luck in Hawaii, and
Thank
safe
you,
travels.
Matt. Appreciate you.
Merry Christmas to the Lady Tigers as they head to Honolulu, Hawaii. Campbellsville will come back, and they'll be at home on the 4th of January, and we'll get together with Coach shortly after that contest, and then they'll step into Mid-South Conference play. But we remind you that their games out in Hawaii can be found on PassTheBallLive.com as they take on Concordia and Dakota Wesleyan. We'll step away here. We'll come back and visit with the head coach of the Tigers, Brent Vernon, on Tiger Timeout.
Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. Prediabetes does. 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, but with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. And you can change the outcome. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test today. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org.
Welcome back, Tiger fans. Tiger Timeout continues on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. The Tigers in action this past week in the Powell Center. And unfortunately, as Coach Brent Vernon joins me, we've been in this chair. We've had a lot of fun conversations. Last night in the Powell, Indiana University Southeast comes in and they pick you off. But before we get to that, Coach, let's talk about the last week or so. You finally had your first layoff of the season. You had 7, 8, 9 days to kind of rest up a bit, work on the Tigers, and then I know finals week hits awfully hard for all of your student athletes. And walk me through the last 6, 7 days as it led up to the game last night.
Well, I thought it was pretty good until the game, and then you sit there and you scratch your head a little bit. But no, it was good. We got some rest. We got to recover a little bit. Had some really good practices leading into the game, and then we get into finals week, and I think that really showed its head a little bit last night. I felt like we looked like a team that was mentally tired and stuff, and finals will do that to you. A little bit of the change of the academic calendar, which is something that I didn't do a great job with that. Normally finals are the week before, and we had this game scheduled, but it's one of those things with a veteran group, you expect them to be able to maybe fight through it and maybe a little better than what we did, but we've had a really good year up to this point, and we continue to learn from this and get better. But as I told our guys last night, nobody's going to go undefeated. And so we've got our first blemish, and that's fine. It's about how you recover from that little bit of adversity that you feel, and we got to get better as we get ready for Saturday.
And head coach is the title they give you, but I think within that, counselor, tutor, there are a lot of other things that may go within that. What's finals week like for you, and making sure that your guys have the resources they need, they have the time that they need? Walk me through that from a head coach's perspective.
It's definitely different than during the regular season or during the regular school semester. I mean, the times are different, so you're dealing with some freshmen that are realizing that your final scheduled time is different than your actual class meeting time, and every university does it different. Sometimes from the junior college and transfers, they have that same instance, but we're trying to make sure that they are prepared, that they have ample time to study. We have to change practice times a little bit because of all the maneuvering of everyone with a final, and you want to make sure that you're not practicing obviously during a final, but if you have guys with multiple finals previous or leading up to finals, so there's just a lot of reconstruction that probably affected us a little bit because we were a little bit on a different schedule than what we're used to, but it's not as mentally taxing on me as it is them, but it becomes that as the final grades start coming in, and you want to make sure all your guys are doing well.
Yeah, so their stressful time comes early in the week, midweek, even a little bit late week. I think by Friday evening you start searching for those finals, and you don't expect any hiccups, but that's got to be a little nerve-wracking as well.
It is. I'm going to say, I mean, you're dealing with 19 to 23-year-old young men, and sometimes, you feel like things are going good, and sometimes even when they don't, they're going to tell you things are going so good. So you hope nothing pops up on the radar that you weren't expecting. And again, I think our guys have done a really good job in the classroom leading up to this time. So hopefully we finish off strong this week.
Let's take a look at the numbers from the matchup with Indiana University Southeast last night. The Tigers fall by 7. Dalton Kramer was there with 14 points, 3 boards, 3 steals. Marcellus Vale had a nice game for the Tigers, and Ty Shapes led the way with 16 for Campbellsville. And Coach, it was kind of a weird game, early back and forth, played in a phone booth, 4 points this way or that way. Right there, the last 2 minutes of the first half, you were able to kind of gap Southeast a little bit. It was a 10-point advantage thanks to a Ty Epps 3 late. Got up 12 there in the second half. And, again, I felt really good at one point, but credit to Wiley Brown and credit to his kids. They don't know how to go away.
That's correct.
It's not in their DNA. They were going to fight you to the last whistle, and unfortunately they had enough in the second half.
They did, and you give all the credit to them. We got up 12, and again, I never was really worried about it, but at the same time, we were never playing as clean and as sharp as we had been, and that deals with the longer layoff, the finals, and everything. Sort of felt like we were walking and running in mud a little bit. It's just a step slow, and it was the first time that in a close game that we've had, we got a little bit out of character, and that happens. And again, those are things that you have to be able to go back and watch film and realize that's not what got us here. Go back to what we're used to doing and stuff like that. So, it wasn't on any one person. A lot of us were just short yesterday, including myself. So we've got to be better. But you got to tip your hat to IU Southeast. They were playing about the same as us, not real well. And then the last 5, 6, 7 minutes, they really did a nice job, and they just closed the game out on us.
Yeah, one thing that we had talked about, and fortunately you're 11-0 going into last night. You've not had a night where kind of felt like everybody almost struggled. First half, shot well from three, but you didn't get much done inside the three-point arc. Second half, both kind of went away. You didn't have either option. And I know some of the post miss, not to lay blame, but you're not going to have nights where 5 or 6 guys all struggle offensively. It was a bit of a perfect storm, as you mentioned.
It was, and like you said, first half, did we play good? No. Were we bad? Not really. We sort of masked that by shooting 8 of 18 from three and getting hot in the last 3 and 4 minutes to extend that lead. Second half, we continued to try to get to the post. And again, it was just one of those nights where, there was a lid on the rim and we got some good looks and just didn't convert. And those are things that we have been converting on throughout the year. And so, some people say you're due for a game like that. I'm not one of those big guys like that. You need to lose and learn from it, but we do have to learn from this loss and get better and get prepared for Saturday.
Yeah, IU Southeast has knocked off Georgetown Tigers and now the Campbellsville Tigers. So again, they've put together a solid resume out of the gate, have the Grenadiers. We'll step away here. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back and talk about the Tigers' next matchup. That comes Saturday in the Powell Center. Stay with us here on Tiger Timeout.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like they can do it too, I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Closeout segment on Tiger Timeout here before the Christmas holiday. We'll step away after this broadcast here tonight, and we'll come back into the new year. So as we conclude, let's look ahead for the Tigers as Brent Vernon stays with us here. And Coach, before you get to the Christmas break, you've got a matchup coming at home with Mount Vernon Nazarene. You went there last year. They come here on Saturday to close out the regular season portion of your schedule, and it should be a fun one with the Crossroads League team.
Yeah, as you said, they play in the Crossroads, very well coached by Coach Renee, have a nice record. It was a big game regardless. I think now that we have had a setback with IU Southeast, I think it becomes a little bigger than maybe what a normal game is. You sit there and say it, and you coach speak, every game's the same, and it is, but you want to make sure you end this semester on the right note. Go out with a win to get to that 12-1 mark, and again, we'll be very happy with that. And it's something that we had our sights set on a good non-conference schedule and a good non-conference record, and we've done well so far. So we're going to have to be better Saturday than we were last night against IU Southeast, but I think we'll come very motivated, very ready to go. I think we have a pretty bad taste in our mouth from how the game ended last night, and we're going to try to right that ship.
And as we take a look at the numbers from the upcoming matchup with Mount Vernon Nazarene as they come to the Powell Center, Campbellsville 11-1. Cougars there at 9-2, and it's a club there that you'll get to kind of break down their matchup with Rio Grande as a common opponent there. Very recently played game, so I'm sure that will help you guys as you get to prepare for them.
Yeah, and they've played a good schedule. They've actually, a lot of teams have already gotten into conference, so they play in the tough crossroads. But we got to watch we'll get to watch them on film against Rio, and they had a very good game. They can really score the basketball. They run a motion offense that can be hard to guard, so you got to be very disciplined. You got to be able to chase shooters off the line and keep them in front. And then on the post, you got to be able to keep them off the glass. Again, we went to their place last year in a very good game and a very fun game to be a part of. It came up just short. They returned some good players from last year's team. They did graduate some good ones. So, again, it's going to be a great challenge for us on Saturday to try to make sure we get back on the track we need to be on.
And confirm, I've got that as a 1 o'clock tip-off on
correct.
Saturday.
Yes.
So an early start for the Tigers Saturday afternoon in the Powell Center. And then on Monday, you've got the trip to Bowling Green, the exhibition matchup with Western Kentucky and the Hilltoppers. And this is kind of a really quirky place for that to be on the schedule, Coach. You have your regular season in. You've got Christmas break right around the corner. I think there's a range of possible outcomes there on Monday night. It is the D1 scrimmage or exhibition. I know your guys would be fired up for that.
They will be, and for them it's a real game. It's an exhibition for us, luckily, and for them it's a real game. So it's one of those, as we end the semester, it's one that I think we'll be excited for. It's always a great opportunity to go and be able to play in an arena like that. Coach Plone and them are playing really good basketball right now, so we'll have our hands full. But it'll also give us a chance to work on some things, use it as a practice game, try some different things, throw some different lineups out there and see, don't know, potential may have an extra body available on Monday night, but then throw some guys out there who maybe haven't got as much opportunity and let them play a little bit and see where they go. And as we decide on who may redshirt, who may not, we have some things we're working through with that. But again, it's a great opportunity to be able to get on a big stage and play against a very good team.
Let's talk about the body with Lewis Richards. You get here to the finish line of this semester, and obviously myself and other Tiger fans, you want him on the court. I know you guys have wanted him on the court all semester long, but you're now to a point where we can start to kind of look at that and look at the calendar, look at the schedule, and when that may happen. Give us an update. What are we thinking on Lewis?
Yeah, well, we're just sort of now waiting on grades. Once grades get in, we'll get to the NAI and go through the eligibility center. We don't think that'll be an incredibly long process. I don't anticipate Saturday being available. I don't think we can probably get everything done that quickly, but we'll definitely look into it and see if grades were to be turned in. I think Monday there's a realistic shot, probably a little better than 50-50, but again, we're just taking it day by day. Lewis has been a consummate pro all semester of practicing with us, doing everything that we've asked him to do. It was an unfortunate situation for him not to be eligible this first semester, but I think he's been able to see our team from a different perspective, and I think it'll just help him as he gets prepared. And again, having another able body that is able to contribute and someone who is smart like Lewis, I think he can really help our team.
And then quickly after the Christmas holiday, you'll make the trip to Oakland City. You've got IU Kokomo and IU Columbia? No, IU East there in Oakland City, and that seems forever away, but it won't be long at all.
No, it won't, because unfortunately once those guys go home, you want a break, and it's a good 7 or 8 day break, but it goes really fast. So we'll have to have guys make sure they're getting in the gym, back home, doing stuff to keep some conditioning, because when you get back, you have 3 days of practice and you go into back-to-back games. It'll be a challenge. Both of those teams are very good in the River States Conference. So it'll be 2 games that we need to make sure we get for the second semester start on the right foot.
Merry Christmas, man.
You too.
Have a good break, and the Tigers will be in action on Saturday as they welcome Mount Vernon Nazarene to the Powell Center. That is a 1 o'clock start time for Campbellsville University there, and we wish the Lady Tigers safe travels as they head to Hawaii as well. For Brent Vernon and Ginger High Colvin, I'm Matt Payton. We'll see you next semester here on Tiger Timeout.